Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for another Journaling on a Budget Memory Lane. So today we are going to do a little bit in our lap book, but before we go there, we are going to kind of finish up the pages that we did the last time. So I have pulled out some things that I thought would give us a really nice finish. And for the washi tape for the flip, I pulled out two different ones. I pulled out a green with some leaves on it, and then I just pulled out some with some script. This matches the wood tone here better, including even the words going up and down. But I don't know why. I just like the green better. And I want to do some ivy coming down the side here to give this page a little interest, but be able to leave the rest of it nicely. And so I think that we are going to use the green, but I just kind of wanted to show you my thought process on that. This one was wider, so I thought that's kind of better. But still, I just really liked the green better. So maybe just because it gives it a little contrast or something. So I'm going to take these off and I'll just use them on some other project. But I just really did fall in love with the green. So what I'm going to do, I think, is we'll put this on first, and then we'll do our stenciling on that side. So first thing I want to do is kind of get an idea of how long it needs to be. I'm going to cut it a little bit long, just so that I don't have to worry about it. And like I said, you can stick it on a snippet, or if you just get rid of a little tiny bit, it's not going to hurt anything. So I am going to put some permanent stick glue on it to go right along with the sticky that's on it. This is kind of a heavy washi tape. It's from the Dollar Tree, and goodness knows from when, but sometimes their washi tape is thin, like regular washi tape. Sometimes this is more plasticky. You know, each one of them is a little bit different. But washi is made to be removed. Now, these leaves do have a right side up and an upside down. So I am going to figure out what I did with some parchment. There's some. I don't want to glue it to my page yet. I'm just going to give that just a little bit of a tap and flip it over, just to see if it looks like I have it on there well enough and to see if it looks straight. And I think I need to bring this end out just a little bit more. I really should have just done it, whoops, upside down to begin with. So that is halfway. And that's halfway, so that looks good. And I'm going to put just a touch more glue on here, and then nip off the ends. There we go. And then we'll just line the washi tape right up with the edge of the paper. And I think I'm going to leave just a little touch of the paper sticking out, because it's got a really nice, kind of a little bit of a darkness to that edge where it had dyed that color. And so I want to see that. So just give that a good press down. And what you can do when you're working with something, I'll just use a book, but you can have a piece of cardboard that you can put underneath what you're working on. When your pages are already attached in your book, having I call them pressing boards, just a piece of cardboard that's nice and heavy. And sometimes I will decorate one side just so it's pretty, but decorate it completely flat, just papers or whatever. We'll have to make one for this, because we've still got lots of pages to go. But just so you have something to press against when the stuff underneath it is bumpy. So, and then I'm just going to kind of run my fingernail right next to that card. You can use a bone folder if you have one. If you have a pen that is completely used up, like a ballpoint pen where that ball rolls, those make very nice folding tools. I'm just going to run that along there. I want the glue to get kind of on the edge of that paper. I want it to really stick well. And then I want it to make a place for us to get that to fold. And I'm going to fold it right away. So there we go. Now we have our flip for that side. Now whether I will put anything on this side, I don't think so. It's a nice place to write. Maybe I'll stamp some lines on the back of this. I never thought of that until just now. That might be a good idea. And so then I want to stencil some leaves, and I want to use this ivy because that's Christmas. This is not like holly or whatever, but I think that it just kind of goes with Christmas. I don't know why. I'm wondering if I do like this and then maybe go across the bottom too. We'll see. And I chose peeled paint for this, which is not a super bright or a super dark color. Now, whenever you're stenciling, because my edges here are very close, be careful to make sure that you keep your color on top of the stencil. Don't get off the side and leave a mark. And I'm going to there are some little berries on here. And where I can, I'm going to just kind of leave them. And then I'm going to come in with some pink and just touch them. So we've got little red berries. Like holly berries, kind of. And this is really dark. I really should not have, I shouldn't keep going on there, but I've started it now, so now I kind of want to keep with it. I should have kept it a little lighter. And I didn't realize that I went off just a little bit right there. So I need to remember, I always get towards the end, and that's when I tend to get off the edge of my stencil because I'm not paying close enough attention. Alrighty, now make sure that I don't move my stencil, and I think I'm going to use Tattered Rose. Not sure if that's dark enough or not. It might not be, but let's see. Got a couple little dots right there. And it's going to get a little bit on the green. A little bit of the green got on the red, but that's okay with me. I don't mind that. You could be more particular and use something much smaller. But I don't mind that they kind of blend together a little bit. To me, it kind of brings it together. These ones are completely green, so I'm going to touch them anyways. There's one there. Trying to make, oops, and I got off the edge again there. Which I got off the edge quite a bit, but it still looks okay. I like the way that that turned out. Now the question is, do I want to go? I don't think so. I think when you open this up, that looks really nice like that. I don't think I want to try and make it L-shaped. So then I have to decide. I'm going to line this back up again because I have quite a few spots in different areas. I am going to kind of just go in and go off the edge on purpose. Whether I hope that I will like it when it's done. A lot of times when I make a journal, I make my pages removable so that if I really don't like it, it comes out. but this one I did a permanent attached pages. So I have to live with them. Ooh, I like the way that looks good. Awesome. So it just gives it a little bit. And I will lift this up when we get ready to move over to the lap book side. I've tucked the lap book side underneath of my tripod so I could kind of keep things where I want them. Because it is hard to work right under the camera because it's on a tripod with this large of a book. So that is that side complete. I like the way that's turned out. I think that I very possibly may put some lines on that with my handmade line stamp, and I will probably maybe even do them in green. I think that might look nice. So we're good there. So then we've got this other side to do here. We'll slide over just a little bit. And so this side we needed some background going on. And so these are two of the pieces that I had made a bunch of pieces to do a collage here. And these were a couple of pieces that were left over. And so, see, now that came through just a little bit. You could flip your stencil over. Oops. See, now I had stenciled this way. Well, it won't line up that way, but if you flip your stencil over, you can line it up and stencil on this side also if you want to. We may think about that later. I'm not even sure that page is going to be, like, maybe covered up. But when you flip your stencil over, before you do that, you need to wash this side off so that doesn't come on your paper and fill in the spots that are not supposed to be filled in. But when you're working with just plain copy paper, a lot of times with a heavy ink, that green ink was very, very saturated. It will soak through your paper. Okay, so I thought that this would just be a cute tag to fit in there like that. And then we've got our onesie game there. I thought that maybe this would make a cute paper clip. And I also, as I was picking up, I found this envelope, and I really wanted to put the little operation guy in here. So I thought that was such a fun game when I was a kid. So I thought that he would look really cute on an envelope like that. But we need to obviously do something with that envelope because it's way too stark white. So to start with, I thought that we would, because we have purple and blue and the tea dyed on this page. Oh, there's also green and red. He's red. And so I thought that maybe dots would be nice. And I thought that these are some handmade. These are just mini dots. This is a handmade stencil that I made. I'm not so sure if you can really see it. And I made this with my crocodile or big bite. It's the one with the long neck on it so that it would fit different areas. Now, if you don't have a punch that's got a really long neck where you can, reach far in, just make your stencil skinnier so that you can reach both ways and just randomly punch it. And then, just make sure you stay on the stencil. You just have to move it more. You just won't have as large of a stencil. But yeah, this is one I just made out of just plain packaging acetate. And I thought this would work nice as the background for there because it's farther apart. So, because we've got, and this is how I keep my stencils. I keep my stencils in a little folder. This was made out of just plain old cardstock, and then I just cut the little things on them. And this one too. But, and then I stencil on the front of the folder. And that way I know what it is. I've got a place to put the name. And when I'm looking to put them back, it's easy to put them back. And the biggest thing is they do not get stuck on each other. These two would not be the terrible type that get stuck, but there are so many of them that have little intricate pieces that they get caught on each other. They rip. And so this is just a good way to store your stencils. And then I just go shortest to tallest and, try and offset my little parts like this. So let's start with this one. And So I thought for this one, we would use purple, blue, red, and I thought we would use this stencil, and just randomly, I'm going to use the Tattered Rose because that's what we used over here. So that's the same red that I'm going to use, and I am just going to randomly go in and put some here and there. And we are going to see the white in the background. So maybe we'll go in and put some tea dye on there. Okay, I'm going to just move this over a little bit and put some down here and maybe up in there. Okay, so there's our red, because that's going to go with him. And then a little purple from below and blue from below. Now this purple is really, really wet. So, I don't know what I did with the lid for this one. Oh, there it is. Where's my purple sponge? There it is. I'm going to have to try and be light-handed with this, because even though that the bottom part is dark, I really don't want to make it too dark. And I already have made that one really dark. Alrighty, now we'll go in with a little bit of the turquoise from the game. And that should have it pretty well filled up then. And then we'll see what it looks like with our little game piece on the top, or game board, I guess I should say. And really, I have to remember that the only thing that's going to show mostly is just the outside edges. Maybe just a little bit more of the red. There, and there. That looks good, I think. And then let's edge the envelope with red. The red's not very red. And then we'll have to think about, I didn't think about the back of the envelope. Okay, so let's move all this other stuff out of the way and see how he looks in the book. That's red. Alrighty, so if we put this here, the onesie game also has white in the background, so that looks okay. This is going to be here. Okay, so I think for the background, I want to do the little dots, but I'm trying to decide. I was thinking purple and blue, but maybe just the turquoise in the dots. Or the turquoise. This paper behind here is kind of a light purplish color, so he's going to go there. And he might even need a word or something right there. I'm not sure what. So that will be, when I go through my journals when they're done, I go through them and I find all sorts of things that I think, I think this or that. Like that one might need a word like enjoy or something like that. And I do that at the end, and I do it kind of throughout every so often and just pop something in there that I think that that's what I want to do. All right, so that's going to be like that. And I'm going to take all of these things off of here. And I am going to do the dots in. I'm going to start with turquoise. Do I want to glue this down first so that the dots will go onto the label section, or the part where, I think so. And I'm going to put stick glue on there and then just a couple of touches of Fabri-Tac. Give that a chance to kind of run to the bottom. Well, that's not working. Here it is. Okay, so it's this side that's going to be glued down. So this way, Fabri-Tac does catch really pretty quickly. But since I'm going to stencil on it right away, I want to just make sure that it does not move while I'm stenciling on it. And so just a little tiny bit of the Fabri-Tac right in the middle so it doesn't squish out. Give it just a little extra hold. There we go. And the reason people put the tops back on the Fabri-Tac as soon as they're done, I used to watch people and think, why do you do that every time? That's such a waste of time. Yeah, it's not. Because the reason that they do that is because if you don't put the top back on the Fabri-Tac, especially when it's pretty full and new, what happens is it starts just like a volcano just coming right out the top of the bottle. And so if you ever wondered why people always put the top back on, that's why. And it isn't silly. They really need to do it if they're going to have a mess to clean up. Okay. There we go. So let's get some little turquoise dots in here and see what they look like. Hopefully okay. If not, we fix it, right? I want to go on to the envelope flap. And these are already very, very random, so I don't need to worry about moving the stencil until I don't have any more stencil left to use over here. So sometimes if something is very patterned, but to me I'm making it a background stamp, I kind of move it around so you don't get that pattern then. When you're using the acetate, you have to push a little bit harder to get through. The acetate is thick. I used to think that a thick stencil was a good stencil, like much better made or whatever because it was so thick. It's hard sometimes to stencil through a thick stencil, depending on what you're using to do it with. If you're using a stenciling brush, they will get down through that thick plastic and it's not a problem. But when you're using sponges, you have to push a little harder. Oh, I like that. And I really do kind of like it so. And I'm going to be careful that I don't kind of half and half the circles. Like right here on the edge. I want to kind of make sure that where I've already got a circle, I'm not putting another one kind of partly on top of it, because then it looks like it's, sometimes it looks like it's overlapping. Out here there aren't any, so I'm just going to hit every one. And I think I kind of like this as the background. I thought about doing more colors, but I'm thinking that that is enough. Like, because it is a background, I don't think we need any more. And then there also could be a spot you can write on there if you want to. Now I kind of wish that I would have done this like in just the pink and the purple and then use the turquoise dots on top of the pink and purple. That would have been kind of cool. But it's too late to do that now. But I am thinking, I was thinking about edging it in purple, but that purple is so dark. No, I think that that looks good. Let's see. Oh, here's a top to this one. Oh, I was wondering, do I want to do it? I think because this is so white, I do think that I want to just continue those blue dots right over onto the envelope. And figure out what to do with my sponge. It'll give the envelope some interest, and then if I decide we want to do something with it later, we could always cover it with paper even. That will make it a little stronger. But for right now, I'm having a hard time just looking at that stark white, and I think that just bringing this over here will give it just enough interest that it won't bother me anymore. And I do that quite often. Sometimes I will cover something, like I'll stencil something like this. And later on, I'll think it needs more. I need to do something different. But it didn't bother me the whole time I was working on the book. It was more of a, like, come to the ending and decide what is it that I need to do to finish things off. And then I might look at it and think, I really need to put something on that envelope. Yeah, I like that. Look at that. Because it's acetate, that ink really sits on top of it. And it's all over you. Do I want to edge that envelope? Hold on. I need to wipe my hands off a little bit. And I do apologize if my last few videos, and this one maybe too, I've been having a little problem with my sound, and it's not my camera, it's just me. I get to kind of getting in the middle of my head and forget to speak up. So I do apologize for that. I'm glad that it, you know, you have speakers and that type of thing that you can use so that it doesn't totally drive you crazy, but I really do understand how frustrating that can be. You know, when you're watching a video and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now I can't hear. Oh, now I can hear again. So I will really work on trying to get more at a steady volume. Now I'm thinking that this one would look really cool with some kind of a large stencil in the middle or picture right in the middle of there. And just because these envelopes fit this like we did in the back, I'm going to stick one of those in there just so that when the time comes, I can maybe make it into a tag. Alrighty, so then, oops, there went my little piece of tape. See, doesn't stick always that well. So we have, what do we have? Oh, we need to put our little guy on here. And so this is just going to be a little journaling tuck. This is a little journaling tuck. So those are going in there. And I thought that I would turn this one into a paper clip. And I think because it's got this little bump right here, I'm going to put the paper clip right there. So I am just going to, I'm not going to cover the other side of the paper clip at this time. I might take it off and cover it later with whatever's going in this area. But because I don't know what's going to be there, I'm just going to leave that blank for now. Oh, I've got 2 pages glued together there. I don't know what's going to go here. Alrighty, so That one is kind of blue. This is kind of blue. Let's go for a bluish, a big one or a little one. Oh, I think I like the big one. I don't like the light blue, but there's a nice pretty turquoise one. So that one works. And when I see different color paper clips at the Dollar Tree, that's where I get them. I usually pick them up whenever I see something that I don't have, instead of spending a whole bunch of money. Alrighty, so, okay, so what I'm going to do is just fold a piece of cardstock. This is going to go on here like this. And this is what I'm going to glue to my, and that's actually not long enough, but if I turn it around, it will be. All right, now I want to glue this onto there. All right, I want to glue it on this side. And I want this to be in this area, right where that paper clip is. So I'm going to glue that on there like that. And then I'm going to rip it off. And the reason I'm going to do that is because that way the whole thing is sturdier, because this is just copy paper and magazine. So it's very, very flimsy. And if it's going to be a paper clip, I don't want it to be really, really flimsy. So I'm going to put the glue on here so that I know that I've got it in the right area. And then I'll put some between the paper clip edges. You should always do that when you're gluing a paper clip so that it doesn't slide off. You want to catch that area like this here. You want to make sure that your paper glues between there so that cannot slide out. Got some of that on the front. All right, and I'm just going to line that right up there. I'm going to kind of leave that blue stick up just a little bit because I just think it's kind of cute. And even though this is thin paper and you're really going to see that I push that, you're going to kind of see the paper clip, that's okay with me. I would rather have it be strong than pretty. And then because we've got the torn edge there, I'm going to tear this one just right along the edges. And I may decide then on the other side just to leave the turquoise paper clip, or I may decide to add something else to it. Like we have here, you know, something different that goes with that page. But because I folded that paper in half, it does two things. To me, it makes it a little easier to get the paper clip on there if you've got a double-sided paper clip. If you've got a single-sided paper clip, it doesn't matter. You know, if you can see part of it, you can easily put it on there. But if you can't see part of it, that paper makes it easier. You've got a much wider area to go over your paper. And I don't like these kind of corners, so I normally will just round that off. And I may, if I decide that I just want that paper clip and nothing else, then I will take this portion off instead of gluing something to it. And there we go. Now I have to decide, this was edged in the tea dye, but because we've got the turquoise there and the turquoise here, I want to edge this one with turquoise just to kind of draw that together a little bit. Because I was kind of thinking even that one, I was kind of thinking because the colors are a little brighter here, maybe they don't quite go. And if they don't go, they don't have to go in here. They could go in a different journal, you know, that I'm doing something that's family or games or whatever. But I was thinking if I put turquoise around the edges of them. And I do like that. I think that that looks good. The tea dye darkens it down just a little bit, which is also kind of nice. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. And then I do believe that for now we are done with this page. Like I said, we might decide to come in and put some words in here, or, you know, a picture or something on the envelope. But in general, this is what I consider. Nothing is ever to me done until the journal is completely done, sold, and gone. Because there are always things that pop into my head. Oh, I could do this, oh, I could do that. And so I never say that's done, because then it doesn't stop me from changing it later if I want to. Oops, we are not done. So that goes there. Yeah, I like that much better. It just blends it in a little bit. So there we go, and there we go. But I didn't put our little guy on here. All right, so he's going to be glued on there. And I think I'm going to do mostly stick glue with a little bit of Fabri-Tac so that we've got some wet glue too. See, this is empty down to here. And can you see how that oozed out the top because I forgot to put the top on it? So yeah, that's one thing you do need to make sure that you do with that Fabri-Tac. Where is my stick glue? Here we go. I like the stick glue because it really covers really well. Now, I like regular white craft glue, PVA glue, whatever you want to call it. And then use the spreader to spread it out nice and, you know, nice and thin and cover everything. But with magazines, that's very hard to do. It's too wet for that. And then the magazine wants to wrinkle really bad. And so if you don't want that wrinkle in there, then using the white glue is not the best thing to do. Oh, come on, Fabri-Tac. It's like a watch pot that never boils. Okay, there we go. A little bit of that on there. Just a little added protection. But then you have to make sure you smooth it out or it will be lumpy. Make sure that ooh. Okay, he's stuck. Got a little tiny corner sticking out there that I will probably cut off. See, now there were bumps under here where the Fabri-Tac was. And so you just use something to smooth that out. But the Fabri-Tac is so sticky, if you were to try and spread it with your finger or with something like this, like I said, I do with the white glue with, it just sticks and rolls and, you know, you just really can't, you got to do it afterwards. After you put it down, then you right away go in, kind of start from the middle and just work your way to the outside. And what it does is it moves it and flattens it, and you're good to go. There we go. And I'm going to nip off that little corner mostly just because, I guess I could have just wrapped it a little bit. I don't want it to keep catching and catching. So there we go. So now we have our paper clip. Which we could just put on there just like that. Our whimsy game. There's a couple of journaling cards. We've got more there. There. I think that that looks cute. We've got our toy store window, we've got our stenciling, and we've got our toy bits over here. To me, obviously, you can see what I thought of as toys as a child. Games. We loved games in our family, and that was really pretty much what I thought of as, those were the, whoops, loved getting the games at Christmas because it lasted forever. You know, you just could play and play and play. And I was the youngest, so, you know, other people had to play games with you instead of going, nah, we don't want to play with you. Alrighty, so now in the lap book side, which we don't have a ton of time left. I didn't realize that would take so long, but so the lap book is the one that's got lots of flips and flaps and everything, but we've got a pocket over here, but I thought it needed a little something more. And so I thought about putting, this was just a piece of cardstock that I had. And I thought, well, what if I just fold it right here till it's about 1/4 of an inch thick, glue it down. That will be thick enough for as these pages get thicker for it to expand up. The folded part is sitting above the box, so it's not going to interfere with that. Kind of holds things down a little bit, but then it's a flap that goes this way. Because that's what lap books are all about. Just little surprises here and there and that type of thing. So, but then when I did it and then when I flipped it down like this, so you can't even see the bottom of it. That's really long. It flips down too far. So I thought, well, what if I only do it about that tall and then it flips down. Then it flips down to right here, you know, just right there. It's like, that's not too much in the way. That's about 1.5 inches or so off the book, maybe 2 inches off the book, but not too bad. So I thought that's kind of cool, but I didn't like this little teeny tiny piece. So I'm going to do a piece that goes all the way across, but it's only going to be about this tall. So let's start by measuring. So this is 5 inches tall. And so I have an old file folder here that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to cut it up here a little bit, just to, it won't fit in my trimmer. You gotta love the small trimmers because they fit in, you know, the frame and everything well, but how wide do we need it? But they don't fit all of your paper. Okay, so that is 6.5 inches wide. Yep, let's do 6.5 inches. And it might be just a touch wider than 6.5. So there's 5. I'm going to have to measure 6.5 because that only goes to 5. Where's my pencil? I want to be able to have a flat side against the cutter. So 6.5 inches from the edge is right there. Let's see how that looks. Alrighty, that looks good. And we need it 5 inches tall. Yes, because the 5 inches was the whole thing. I need the part that we're going to glue, the part that we're going to fold, and the part that's up here. So we're going to go 5 inches. Let's see. Let's see how wide this is. Let's do this. Okay, so this is the part that's going to sit on the bottom. That is 1.5 inches, and then 1/4 of an inch to fold up is 1 3/4. All right. Because we've got the natural folds here, I'm not going to use them totally, but so I'm going to go down 1.5 inches and make a mark. That's where I want my 5 inches to start. So we will cut it right there. And that should fit across the bottom. fits on the bottom. And then we'll have our foldy bits there. So then all together, I want 5 inches. There we go. Hopefully I just did that right. Alrighty, so there's the flat part, there's the foldy part, and those are about the same height. Okay, great. So now we did that. And now what I'm going to do is I am just going to take the first fold of this manila folder, because there's 3 little folds in it. I'm just taking the first one, just kind of fold it back and forth. There. So now we've got our top section, and then we've got our 1/4 of an inch about, and then we've got our bottom. Let's see how that fits up there. Fits up there really nicely. And if we need to, we can always roll a little bit more of this. You know, we can always roll it back a little bit to make it a little taller. Okay, so this goes here like that. I think I want to round to the corners. I think we want to put a picture on there. I grabbed a couple pictures that I thought might be nice, because we'll need one for the inside and the outside. And hold on, I need to, there it is. I need to put the top back. Oh, now I got it all over my hands. Put the top back on there. Okay, and then we're going to use it shortly. All right, I thought that these elephants might be cute right here. And then I thought maybe this would look good on the inside. It'll just be part of that. So let's just, if we do that right at the top, we'll have the little, we'll have the acrobats. We'll have this much of the elephants. And then it will go down to right here. Yeah, I think that that would be good. So I'm going to cut it right across the top. Maybe take off just a little bit of the top. Bring it up just a touch. And then, it is wide enough. Let's see. That was 5 inches wide. So I'm gonna, let's see. Now that is something to really pay attention to. Alrighty. So if it's 5 inches wide, and we come right to here, that's not cutting off too much. Or if we do 5 inches wide this way and come to here, yeah, maybe we'll cut this side off. So 5 inches this way. Nope, I wanted to cut that side off, didn't I? 5 inches. Why does that not seem right? Is this 5 inches wide? Oh, good thing. It's 6.5 inches wide. Okay, so we're going to cut off this side, so I need to mark that at 6.5 inches. I'll do it down here. We're keeping that side. We're cutting off this side. Always check and double check when you're cutting. Can't tell you how many times I've cut things wrong. Well, then again, you just figure out how to adjust it. Put a solid piece of paper behind it and center your picture in the middle. And then it was 5 inches tall. Now, is that correct? Yes. And if I make it just a touch taller, so that I don't have to be so picky. So that's going to be glued right to there. Yep, think that that will look cute. So let's do both. Stick glue and a little bit of Fabri-Tac. Really cover it, because this one is going to be moving. Just kind of try and do the edges again last so that they're a little bit wetter. And then, of course, play with the Fabri-Tac till it gets to the bottom. What was I going to show you when I don't remember what I was going to show you when I moved the book. I was thinking I said I was going to show you something when I get the book out from under the tripod. We're going to need this again, so I'm going to leave it on its side, and I want to make sure that it's closed. Okay. And I'll just trim off the little bit of extra. Okay. So there we go. So that's going to fit in there like that. And so what I want to do is this is going to fold down and fold down. So this picture has to go upwards this way. That's this one. So I guess I'm going to let that dry a little bit before I folded it. Let's see. This one stays down. Then we've got a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so I need to come down to the bottom of the 1/4 inch. To the top of there is 3.5. So 3.5 top to bottom. This whole thing is 5. Let's see if I bring it down to 3.5 here. Okay, so I'm thinking that I will cut it right about there, and then I will come down. It's going to probably take off a little bit of the bottom of the wheels. And I lost my pencil again. Why do I just toss things? And then I can't figure out. There we go. I put my... Okay, so I want to cut it right there for top to bottom. Oops. Mark is right there. Make sure that it's straight with my lines. And then we want 3.5 inches. I'm going to make it a touch bigger. And then we want 6. Okay, I'm going to cut just the very edge of this off because I think that this is the end I want to keep. I think I want to keep all of those elephants. Let's see, 6.5 inches, right? Okay, so do I want to cut off this part? Or do I want to cut it off here? No, I think I'm going to cut off this end. So 6.5 inches. And that's going to go on the back. Oh, this is getting really long. All right, so this one goes like this. This folds down like this, which means that this needs to go right there. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on here, and then I'm going to stick it in a book and let it dry before I fold it. So at this point, because that will be like that, and then when we fold it down, we will see this part. This will be glued to our book down here. So that will be right side up. But I am going to let you go at this point in time because I'm going to get too far and not be able to upload this video. So thank you very much for stopping by. If you get a chance, leave a thumbs up, leave a little message, and thank you very much for everything that you do for me. I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.